and gentlemen, welcome to our presentation, We Care, We Share, where we'll be introducing you to our very successful community service program for high schoolers. Throughout this presentation, we will start firstly with a bit of our school's background. Then we'll move on to our community service program, its structure and its history. Later on, we'll move on to the benefits of community service and how you can implement it at your school. And finally, we'll finish it off with a little conclusion.
So firstly, who are we and our school's background? So Our Lady of Mercy School is an American Catholic school located in the city of Rio de Janeiro in the neighborhood of Botafogo. And if you look at this picture, we will be located approximately here, looking at the Christ the Redeemer in front of the Christ the Redeemer. So our school varies from students since pre-nursery to senior grade in high school. And even though we are a very small school, because we have only about 500 students in the entire school, still a small but diverse student body is present with many different cultures. In high school, for example, we have only about 100 students, but this is actually a positive aspect of Our Lady of Mercy because it creates a tight-knit community. For example, it isn't strange to see a freshman and a high schooler speaking to each other in the hallway. An important fact that was previously mentioned is that our school is a Catholic school, which relates a lot to our mission. So Our Lady of Mercy School, different from other schools, doesn't have only the mission to form the student only for its academic achievements. We have three main aspects of the mission. The first one is humanization. Secondly, become an agent for transformation in the world we live in today. And lastly, educate the whole person not only for their local culture, but for a global understanding.
If there's really an activity that embodies our school mission, it's community service. Through it, our students are exposed to people of different backgrounds, races, and social status. It actually teaches the students to see the differences in people and how these differences can make people special. So now let's begin with the history. The idea for the community service implementation began all the way back in August 1996 with a conversation of the previous religion department coordinator, Cristina, and our headmaster, Dr. Leduc. However, it was only implemented by December 1998. It was created so that students could really embrace the school's missions by exercising fraternity. Thus, the logo was created, We Care, We Share, with the idea that there is no compassion without action. Now we're going to see an interview with our headmaster, Dr. Leduc, talking a little bit more about the program.
And I meant about the mission of the school and how this should be reflected in the overall programs. And human service came into view the necessity to offer our students into a situation where they could share things that they have with others as part of the mission. Originally, we've been active 350 hours of community service. And that was all outside of school. Nothing is paid for as community service. So community service originally was in creches, child centers, Asian, hospitals. It's all this. We had 28 programs. Very complicated, difficult to administer, but that's the way it started. So it was part of the mission school to care for others, part of the Catholic mission and our schools. That is included, and that is required. This will take into the state Council of Education and they will require graduation. The students do not complete the hours that we have now to they can graduate. It's part of the mission, global understanding, and the whole person inside of very generic terms, etc. One of the major concerns that we had was several passages is the social atmosphere and being placed in the context of society where in today's society still there's a lot of conflict, social conflict. There's people that are marginalized and one of the ideas was to instill in the minds of the students that there's another side and that's students got involved, I mean, here now, a good percentage, as they got involved in working with classes or working with others in special needs, they didn't anymore obviously, as you know. They were getting the time because they were realizing they had something to share. And this is what we wanted them to take with them. You know that not of the child, but the sunshine here to offer a space for this to take place. And by making it obligatory, at least they get a taste of it. And if they don't want to continue, they stop. But I get feedback from students who graduated and they do this program really cool. You're reading at university in the States, people do service things all in different ways because they internalize it. And if we get those, if you get a small number, we're meeting our level. So we don't have some barriers.
So, the initial requirements. At first, the initial requirements was up to 110 hours. There was no single unified program of the school, different from what we have today, because we have the Extensão, which is going to be later talked about. There was no variety of options of things students could actually do, where most students completed their work at Feira da Providência, which was a fair that was related to the Archdiocese of Rio de Janeiro, in which students in Our Lady of Mercy School were responsible for the youth of the United States.
With the difficult task of having to complete 210 hours of community service, the students became overwhelmed, and community service became not something enjoyable and for fun, it became an obligation or type of homework. Volunteering made the students stressed, and it became almost a superhuman feat to be able to balance community service with extracurriculars, with studying and practicing swimming sports. It was clear that it was time for change. Therefore, the school established new requirements. Firstly, there was a need of 100 hours only to be able to graduate from OLM, and secondly, there was a creation of specific certificates of excellence of community service for those students who were willing to go beyond. These certificates of excellence were bronze for 150 to 199 hours, silver for 200 to 249 hours, gold for 250 to 299 hours, and lastly, platinum for 300 hours or more. Also, Extensão, our school's main project, provides a unified organization so that the students don't have to look outside of school to find activities as they did before. Besides that, our school further developed their list of possible NGOs and projects that the students can get involved with in order to complete their community service hours. Extensão was already a pre-existing project before becoming organized by OLM as it is today. Two women involved in Extensão, Adriana and Camila, came to our school, but they had to leave. So OLM inherited the project and it's operated till today, being managed by Extensão coordinators and involving most of OLM's high school community.
So, as was previously mentioned, the students have many diverse community services that they can participate in. Besides Extensão, which was just mentioned, which is the most important community service, we still have many partners that students can go and participate in these activities. So, like an institute, for example, which is an organization dedicated to give students with high IQs but from low-income families a high-quality but free-of-cost education. Some of our students go there to teach English to the students.
We also have AdaptServe, which is a program that seeks to integrate disabled people in society by surfing, teaching them to surf, and going them to the beach. And many of our school volunteers go there to help these people.
Clean Up Rio is a project that involves families and students from many different schools in order to achieve their goals of both cleaning up the beaches of Rio and, most importantly, raising awareness about the persistent issue of pollution.
IAG is a daycare center in which many OLM students go to in order to play with kids that do not have the money to go to schools. At the end of the year, they actually come to OLM so that they can celebrate Christmas with us in our Christmas market.
The Ronald McDonald House is a place where children with cancer from areas that are far away from their treatments are able to stay there and have easier access. During the Mac Happy Days, OLM students will participate in activities in a branch of McDonald's so that they can garner funds through the sales of Big Macs to support the Ronald McDonald House. Resgate de Animais is an NGO that takes care of street dogs and puts them up for adoption in a fair in which OLM students will be able to help administer the fair, give out information, and even fill out the papers that are needed for the adoption of the dogs.
Vila do Sol is a nursing home where many elders live, and volunteers will go there to take care of these elders and give them attention.
Well, Onda Solidária is actually a brand new initiative which our school had the opportunity to take part in. This initiative actually consists in bringing interactivity through sports and education to students in the rural areas in Brazil. One of the projects they are doing actually right now is in the city of Santana do Deserto, a rural area in the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil. They are building a school there so kids from this region can have more access to better education.
The Walkathon Against Cancer, just like the Clean Up Rio, is not a school-only event where many schools around Rio and families come to. This walkathon seeks to gather money for the National Institute of Cancer and spread awareness of the disease. The Basquete Cruzada is a place where many children from low-income families go to so that they can learn sports and together with the sports skills that they can use and also integrate them into society. Many volunteers will go there to help these children. Just like in Tennis na Lagoa, where children from low-income families go to learn tennis and also learn skills that they can use and be integrated into society.
An important part of community service is that we leave a legacy, and together with our legacy, a butterfly effect can be exerted into the society that we are in now. We plan to have benefits that will not only help the students, but also the communities that have been affected by us. To show a little bit more of the effect our school has had on the projects, we would like to show an interview with Alexandre Borges, who is the project coordinator of one of our school's partners.
Oi, meu nome é Alexandre, tenho um projeto chamado Ter na Lagoa, e esse ano eu vou fazer 15 anos de existência. Então, o projeto Ter na Lagoa é para dar oportunidade às crianças carentes do Rio de Janeiro, que não teriam oportunidade de conhecer o esporte que eu amo, e aprender os valores do projeto, deles mesmo, do tênis, do esporte tênis, porque que é a ética, o respeito ao próximo, a dedicação, o foco, a coordenação motora, o envolvimento dos pais, que sabem perder e ganhar. Então, o esporte vai dar muitos valores para eles ao longo da vida deles. Então, o intuito maior do projeto hoje é a educação, ser um grande campeão na vida ali, quando crescer. Saber os valores que o esporte que ele está aprendendo hoje vai levar para o resto da vida dele.
Qual foi a sua motivação para criar esse projeto?
A minha maior motivação foi uma coisa muito louca, assim, que é o meu motor do projeto. Eu falo que para todo mundo tem o motor do projeto. Minha mãe era educadora de um colégio estadual e 35 anos ela deu aula nesse colégio. E a gente conversando, falou assim, o legado que eu vou deixar para o mundo e ninguém vai tirar, uma pessoa a ler e escrever, um adulto ler e escrever. O legado que você vai poder deixar para o mundo é uma criança conhecer o esporte que você ama e praticar. E os valores que você tem, passar isso para ele. Então o motivo, e logo em seguida, é que veio o impacto maior. Minha mãe morreu, um mês depois nasceu o projeto. E alguns dias antes ela me falou, meu filho, olha só, vai ter pedra, vai ter furacões, vai ter tudo para você desistir. Só me promete uma coisa, vai até o final, ao limite do teu corpo, da tua mente, para não desistir desse sonho, você vai ajudar muita criança. Então, nesses 15 anos que vai completar esse ano, vamos atender, já atendemos 3 mil crianças. E esse ano a gente vai passar para atender 250, apresenta as crianças de várias comunidades. Mas o bacana do projeto é que logo quando ele faz 3 meses, ele ganha a primeira raquete e ao longo do ano a gente não só ensina tênis. Então tem cinema, tem teatro, tem um passeio no parque, tem conhecer a volta da lagoa. Então a gente tem muitas coisas além do tênis, que envolve a família.
Como você acha que isso projeto impacta os voluntários e os participantes?
Então, isso é uma coisa muito, para mim, muito emocionante, porque tem uma coisa muito bacana. A realidade do mundo é totalmente diferente dos dois, do voluntário e dos meus alunos. Só que ao mesmo tempo, eles se unem ao longo das atividades. Tipo, teve uma vez que impactou muito, eles foram com voluntários aqui, foram com um parque, que já é botânico, e interagiram com ele. Tio, adorei. Eu falei, por quê? Cara, a gente trocou ideia, ele gostava de algumas coisas que eu gostava. Então, o que eu falo muito pra cá, que tem muita, a troca é muito boa, porque é uma realidade diferente, mas ao mesmo tempo tem uns valores para os dois lados. O garoto espelho vocês, cara, um pouco muito em inglês, eles querem ter uma segunda língua. Alguns acompanham eles ao longo dos anos. A gente já está com tempo aqui fazendo essa atividade com a escola. E o que eu vejo é essa amizade que aumenta a cada ano dos voluntários com a criança do projeto. Então, ninguém quer saber da comunidade, todo mundo quer sair, né? Então se espelha muito em você. Opa, se eles podem, eu também posso. Porque, claro, você tem que, como eles falam, estudar, se dedicar. Vocês estão no caminho certo. Tem pessoas que querem te ajudar. Só depende de você batalhar, lutar, estudar para crescer.
So, as you could see, the volunteers and the participants of the project have been impacted greatly by this, but not only the psychological impact that the community service has had on our volunteers, but community service has been shown to have significant health benefits to those who practice it. The BMS Public Health Academic Journal published a research that said that people who participate in community service have both better mental and physical health, lower rates of depression. They also have lower mortality rates, and their chronic pain has been found to be actually lowered as they practice those volunteering activities. The U.S. federal agency, the National Corporation for Community Service, also published a study that confirmed these findings. They said that people who participate in peer volunteers have lower mortality rates, less depression later on in their lives, and and if they were having chronic pain during the activities, this pain was found to be lowered while they practiced volunteering. And lastly, the community service also stimulates feelings of altruism in the volunteers, as they are forced to interact with people who are not in the same reality as them. And lastly, it is really important that they practice the social skills. They will be interacting with people that are completely unknown to them, so they will have to learn to not only make friendships, but to also talk to them and understand their likes and dislikes. We would also want to show an interview with a former OLM alumni, Luis Osorio, who is now studying at the University of Chicago, so that we can show a little bit of how OLM students feel about this program.
Honestly, in the beginning, community service didn't really matter much to me at all. I did it because it was expected of me and it is a requirement. Over the years, though, I started noticing how happy it made me. And I was happy because I knew that I was making a difference. It didn't really matter if that difference was big or if it was small. What did matter was that I was helping someone else. And for me, that has always been the most important thing.
So, if you would like to implement this program at your school, it would take about 4 of these steps to be completed. At first, it is important important that school staff knows that they have responsibilities. A coordinator should be put in charge of it all so that they can keep track of students' hours, student files, ordering the t-shirts, and making contact with the partnerships and keeping track of where, when students are to be participating in the activities outside of school. Secondly, the idea of mandatory voluntary work is also important. As could be seen, Luisa at first wasn't really interested in the volunteering. But when you make it mandatory, students will have to do it, and so with time they might be able to engage much more in the activity if they were not demanded to. The reach of the program is much bigger if it's mandatory than it is volunteer. Thirdly, it is important that the school starts small, choosing target programming, target audience. So at first, let the students work only with children or only with animals, so that you can understand how the program would work with the number of students you have in your school and how the coordination of the program would also work. And lastly, it is important that both school and student body invest time, effort, and from the school a little bit of money so that the program can support itself.
And finally, we come to our conclusion. By following our motto, sharing is caring, we inspire to end. And finally, we come to our conclusion. By following our motto, we share, we care, we seek to see happiness in other people's faces. However, we also see many positive changes in ourselves. As it can be seen, some of the most effective people are the volunteers themselves. I personally have learned to try new things through community service.
And something I learned from community service is that many times in life, you are limited to your perspective. And what community service does is actually it serves as a support so you can see life from other angles.
What I learned from community service is that sometimes, even if it's just a small little 30 minutes to you, for the children that you're helping and the people that you're impacting, it's much more and it means their whole life.
Volunteering, such as interacting with children from poor communities, helped me build essential skills such as better communication, empathy, and compassion, which will surely be proven useful in the future and help me give back to my community.
For me, community service has really taught me how to really practice my Christian values, which is loving your neighbor as you love yourself and understanding that people come from different backgrounds and these differences can make them special.
So, this was our presentation. Thank you very much for watching.